They were nominated for Best Noise Award, and they won. Go listen to Wargasm. Wargasm came to me at just the perfect time. I needed to discover something new. I couldn't really be bothered to go looking too much at the time. And the name Wargasm was a name that I'd heard mentioned here and there on podcasts and stuff. And I remember the day. It's very easy for me to remember. And so I just looked up the name and then just basically hit the first song. And it was love at first listen. I feel like I'm the perfect target audience. Someone who grew up listening to nu metal but also enjoys electronic music. That's basically me in a nutshell.
No, this is me in a nutshell. Help! I'm in a nutshell! How did I get into this nutshell?
Yeah, these guys, they got me excited about music again at a time where I wasn't really thinking about it too much. I was just listening to what I had been listening to, but really needed something fresh. Yeah, these guys certainly delivered to me. Immediately, I was shocked, honestly. They are, it's like you take the Prodigy and Atari Teenage Riot add in the aesthetic of nu metal sound and then smash them all together, and then you get Wargasm. And I'm a big fan of the Prodigy and a big fan of Atari Teenage Riot, and so what I'm saying is this is exactly my kind of music, like to a T. The first song I would have heard was Super Fiend. I was immediately like, oh yes, like it's like you crawled inside my brain and made music specifically for me. No extra stuff, nothing, no bullshit, nothing that I trim away. Just my taste in music refined down to a diamond. Oh, so exciting to discover an artist like this. And this would have been almost 2 years ago that I discovered them, and I've been following them ever since, very intently. I would have, like I said, the first song was Super Fiend, so I'm guessing I would have discovered them around the time they released Explicit, the mixtape. And even though I'm not an EP kind of guy, as I've said in videos before, it's very hard for me to get excited about an EP. I need a full album, please. At least half an hour's worth of music. Otherwise it's tough for me to ride a wave of excitement so much. But this broke that rule for me. I loved this immediately. It also helps that they're from the UK. Not that I'm a particularly patriotic person, but if there's one thing that I am proud about the UK for, it's the music that we've made and the contribution to music that we've had over the last, since the Beatles pretty much. While the music is largely influenced by a lot of external stuff, like there's a lot of punk elements in it as well, sure, but there's a lot of nu metal in here, a lot of industrial, which largely came from the US for the most part. But just the fact that they're from the UK just makes me a little bit happy inside. So Wargasm are Milky Way and Sam Matlock. That's it. They have live drummer and live touring crew. But in terms of Wargasm themselves, who write the music and everything and produce it, it's Wargasm. It's just those two people. I love the fact that it's a guy and a girl. If it was two guys or two girls, it wouldn't quite be the same. I like that while it is very aggressive music, I love that the aggression is also contributed to by a woman. Something very cool about that. Yeah, so I listened to all of their singles previous to the mixtape, and I could see from 2019 up to 2020, 2021, I could see like a progression of how tight they were getting with these singles, and how they were refining that sound, even though it was like one song, then another song, then another song, like that. It took them relatively a long time to actually release a full-length album. New favourite gym album of that year, let's put it that way. So there's a quote here, which I'd never heard before, but I just found on Wikipedia, which I think is really nice and explains a lot of why their music resonates with me. The quote is from Matlock talking to Kerrang in 2022. When I decided I wanted to do a new project, I knew I wanted to have a Riot Girl attitude with female vocals and two characters at play. Almost like you were getting two sides to a story and a conversation over the music. And that's exactly what Milky brought to the party. The idea was for this to be like the Keith Flint and Courtney Love collaboration that never was. Perfectly summing up why I love Wargasm. Not the biggest fan of Courtney Love, honestly. But Keith Flint, on the other hand, he's my lifelong hero. He always was and he always will be. I've seen Sam wearing Prodigy merch during their gigs. So I'm like, yes, I see you. Wargasm joined Limp Bizkit on their Still Sucks tour, which makes complete sense. Explicit, the mixtape, was named explicit due to the presence of swearing and sexual lyrics, which is, again, exactly right up my street. Just being edgy for the sake of being edgy. I like that. In September of 2023, they released Bang Your Head, which was written about Matlock's experience of struggle to live on a bar salary. Both it and Venom's introduction feature Fred Durst, as a result of the band direct messaging him. In May 2024, the band featured on Crossfaith's Godspeed. I'd never heard of Crossfaith at all. Very much enjoyed that song because they're on it, and then I checked out some of their other songs, also pretty cool, so recommended. And then they released 70% Dead, a collaboration with Corey Taylor. And then they supported Korn along with Loathe and Spiritbox. So that's like the trifecta of new metal bands: Korn, Slipknot, and Limp Bizkit. They've already worked with. Yeah. The last songs they released at this point, time of recording 30th of January 2025, was Circle Pit and Bad Seed. It wasn't just one music video, it was two music videos, but in the same video file, which is an unusual way to release it, but also bangers. Like, they don't have any misses. They're all heavy, they all hit, they're all mosh pit destroyers. And I really got to see these guys live, seriously. In recent years, they are definitely in the top 10 artists that I have been excited about. There's been artists that I've gotten round to listening to finally, properly, and I'm like, yeah, it's good. It's not life-changing, but I enjoy this particular thing. But Wargasm was like a lightning rod into my brain when I discovered them. And I'm really looking forward to hopefully an album again next time. Yeah, so Venom.
Let's start this explicit. Tell me to stop and I'll pay you a visit. All the world shall be your enemy.
Charted at number 88 in the UK albums chart, which honestly is quite surprising because they are pretty underground. They're pretty, I'd say they're pretty niche, but they are from the UK, so that makes sense. awards that they've won. In the Heavy Music Awards 2021, they won Best UK Breakthrough Band. The Void Stares Back featuring Enter Shikari won Best Single in 2023, and in 2022, the Kerrang Awards, they were nominated for Best Noise Award, and they won. But yeah, man, I think this band is just, again, everything I look for in music. Venom is 40 minutes long, perfect album length, I think. Anything around 40 minutes, a little bit less, a little bit more. 40 minutes is perfect, especially for an album this intense. Anything more than that and it's going to get bloody exhausting. When I was younger, I'm talking like in my early discovery years of music, listening to a lot of new metal and like death metal and grindcore and all this stuff, I did kind of wonder, by the time I'm in my 30s, let's say, am I still going to be into the same music as I am now? Am I going to like grow out of it or something? And I genuinely didn't know, because who knows? You know, we can't predict the future or how we're going to evolve as people. And if I had discovered, if Wargasm had emerged at that time instead of now, I'd still be as into them as I am now. They would have had, I think, more of an impact because I would have had fewer comparisons, let's say. But I love this now just as much as I would have done when I was a teenager, and it kind of reminded me of why I like the music that I like in a weird way. You know, it's not just metal and stuff that I listen to, of course. I do listen to other things, believe it or not. Stuff like Wargasm or the Prodigy or Atari Teenage Riot, that kind of blend of electronic and intense metal noisiness is exactly my jam, and always has been, and I suspect at this point, being the age that I am, I think it always will be. I think even when I'm 70, I'll still be trying to headbang and mosh to the same kind of stuff, honestly. This album, it was funny, when it came out, I listened to it very, very intensely for quite a few weeks, possibly months, especially in the gym. And then, I don't know if I started listening to other things, but it sort of got phased out. Not consciously. Every time I go back to it, it's good that I left it for a while, because then it makes it fresh again, you know? If you watch a movie too many times, it's going to eventually just lose its impact. But, you know, you leave it for long enough and you go back to it, it's like, oh yeah, I forgot about this bit. It's the same with this album. There's so many little details and stuff. I feel like my music taste is very specific in a lot of ways. So I can't really recommend Wargasm to, you know, just because you like Slipknot doesn't necessarily mean you'll like Wargasm. Just because you like the Prodigy doesn't necessarily mean you'll like Wargasm. There's like a Venn diagram of electronic music people and metal people and Wargasm. There's a big crossover there, but it's difficult for me to guarantee to someone that they would like Wargasm, despite the fact that I really do. I have recommended Wargasm to people, and some people have poo-pooed it, saying that it's just immature, noisy nonsense. I'm like, yeah, I like immature, noisy nonsense. What's your problem? Oh, you're too good for it? Given the fact that Wargasm has toured with Corey Taylor and Limp Bizkit and Korn, like a dream festival lineup or tour lineup would be like Slipknot, Korn, Limp Bizkit, Wargasm. That seems like it would be possible because, again, they've already worked with them. They already have contacts. And I'm guessing because they're so niche, I can only assume that they're very, very hard-working musicians in terms of networking. It's paid off, clearly, because they've already, within a few years of being active, they've already worked with some of the biggest names in metal in the last 30 years. It's pretty crazy. Small aside, I don't generally get, like, celebrity crushes that much anymore. But Milky Way is definitely my current crush. 100%. Holy shit, man. I love her energy on stage, and her, you know, she's Irish as well. She's got that lovely Irish accent. Another thing I really like about them is, despite the fact that they're a pretty new artist and also quite niche and everything, they do have some pretty cool music videos. Really like colorful and cinematic and just really pleasant to look at, despite the fact that the music is intense as hell. As a long-term die-hard Prodigy fan, I would love to see them tour with the Prodigy. It's like, you know, like I said, they've done Korn and Limp Bizkit and Slipknot essentially. The Prodigy's next in line, I think. Given their sound and their very obvious influence, I think it's got to be the Prodigy next. And as a small aside, I wasn't going to record a video today, but I am in a very good mood and excited and energetic because I just bought tickets to see the Prodigy in Spain later this year. So I'm an excited little boy. I am so glad and thankful for Wargasm's existence. They make music specifically for me, and they're gaining traction. Well, I do think my specific music taste is very niche in a sense. Apparently not. Apparently there are other people that share my intense taste in music, which I'm very happy about. Go listen to Wargasm. Recommend Wargasm to others. Wear Wargasm t-shirts. Do whatever you have to do. Get this band more success. But yeah, I've still not thought of how to end videos yet, so I'm just going to say, go away.